this week's episode of FIA Pure Motorsport. Coming up, we've got some spectacular autocross action. We'll introduce you to the most successful truck racer, and there's great racing to show you from the F1 circuit in Zandvoort. And of course, much, much more from the FIA world of motorsport.
The second stop of the FIA European Autocross Championship takes place in Vilkaitė, Lithuania. The 1,063-meter-long track is 40 kilometers away from Klaipėda. 10 cars at the start of the Buggy 1600 final. Dutch driver Timo Pehler is in pole position. In his green and white Alpha Racing Buggy, he has a great start. But on the inside, Ed van Asten has a chance to pass him, but Pehler closes the door. A little tire rubbing with no consequences. Pehler stays in front and Van Asten falls back to third position. After his first place finish in round one, Timo Pehler with a lot of confidence is extending his lead. Behind him there are some tough battles for podium positions. Further back, Philip Hartmann with a little mistake and the chance for Steven Laubach to attack him. But the Czech in his green buggy defends his position. Jakub Novotny just made the transition from the juniors to Buggy 1600 and has again a great showing. He started in 5th place and advances to 2nd midway through the race. Up front, Pehler is in control. In the winter, he did a lot of gearbox kart racing. Extra practice that now is paying off. After a few rounds, no changes in the positions. Pehler ahead of Novotny and Van Asten. German driver Markus Wibbeler in a disappointing 4th position. After 7 laps, Timo Pehler with a start-to-finish victory, the second win in the second race of the season for the Dutchman. Jakub Novotny with a great second-place finish, and Ed van Asten also on the podium in 3rd.
Final was, it was good. It was, I didn't expect it like this because Shannon is a really, really fast starter. But I took a big risk on the start to go early in 2nd gear, and then it was luck. Maybe it was good from my side, but we got 69 points out of 2 races. It's insane. After 5 years of no podium, always problem. Now we went to Uwe Kreuz, and with my great team from Timo Pehler Racing and Alpha Racing, it's not normal.
With 2 wins, Timo Pehler leads in the overall standings, Novotny jumps into 2nd place, and Markus Wibbeler sits in the 3rd position. Next up, the Super Buggy final. Vincent Mercier in the first row next to Jakub Kubicek and the big favorite Ervins Grences from Latvia in his orange Super Buggy. Grences on the left side with the best start, taking the lead in front of Kubicek. Radek Jordak in the green and white buggy passes Mercier for 3rd position. The field is close together, but then Mercier in the corner with a spin, and he gets stuck on the barrier. Grences still in front, holding on to a comfortable lead, and Johnny Fouillade, who started in 7th position, already has moved up to 2nd place. A great race by the Frenchman. While Grences is not being challenged, Vincent Mercier is trying to make up ground after his crash into the barrier. And he gets a little bit of help. Jakub Kubicek with an error. He spins and loses his chance at a podium finish. After his 5th place finish in Musa, Ervins Grences with a perfect weekend in Lithuania. The Latvian enjoys his first victory of the new season.
The
final was just the way I like it. I just won the start, drove, and looked back at what the competitors were doing, and then I just drove to the finish line. Grences with the win. Fouillade caps a great race with 2nd place, and Mercier also on the podium in 3rd. With his 3rd place finish, Vincent Mercier takes the lead in the overall standings. Grences and Kubicek just 1 point behind. climb races are often decided by hundreds or even thousands of a second. In the hunt for every extra second, the tires play a significant role. These tires are specifically designed and engineered to tackle hill climb challenges, including the relatively short run distances and the need for the tires to rapidly reach their optimum temperature, because tire warmers are not allowed in the races.
Avon ha lavorato molto anche sulle carcasse.
We also work a lot on the tire carcasses to make them as light as possible to optimize the motionless state, because we don't have the possibility to heat the tires like in other championships. Our challenge is they must be immediately ready to start. They must have very good traction even at low temperatures and then still be able to withstand the mileage of the race.
Buonissima trazione anche a una temperatura bassa e poi comunque reggere anche il chilometraggio della gara.
Christian Merli is one of the most experienced and dominant hill climb drivers. The 48-year-old Italian works very closely with Avon tires. The tire manufacturer benefits from the experience and feedback of the driver, and Merli from the further development of the tires. A win-win situation.
Sì, da alcuni anni lavoriamo con Avon, ormai quasi da 8-9 anni.
Well, yeah, we've been working with Avon for a few years now, almost 8 or 9 years. And they often ask me for advice and let me try out new materials, so I hope I can help them. We've also achieved some good results, so we're always looking for new products, and they really put a lot of effort into it. I try to give them the right advice on the race courses.
Io cerco di dare le indicazioni giuste sui campi gara.
In the hours before the race, it's like a beehive at the tire supplier. Tires are changed, new tires with different compounds are put on. Avon alone has 11 different hill climb compounds. The choice of tires depends on the opinion of the drivers, and they rely on their experience and on the temperature gauge, which is a part of the standard equipment of a hill climb driver. And that's why the tire temperature is measured first after the qualifying races.
Allora, è molto importante non tanto la temperatura ambientale, ma la temperatura.
So it's not so much the ambient temperature as it is the temperature of the asphalt. In fact, we always have to check the temperatures a little bit because the tire reacts very much to the temperature of the road surface and the length of the track. Depending on the temperature of the road surface and the length of the track, we choose the compound to use in the race. This is very important.
Scegliamo la mescola da utilizzare in gara. Questo è molto importante.
An important choice because the right choice before the race has one of the most important influence on the outcome of the race. After making its debut on the calendar in 2019, the Rally Weiz in Austria returns to host round 4 of the 2021 FIA European Historic Rally Championship. The Rally Weiz takes place in the city of Weiz, 30 kilometers from Graz and 190 kilometers southwest of the Austrian capital Vienna, and it will feature over 160 kilometers of special stages over 2 days, and the total length of the course is 508 kilometers. The opening day of Rally Weiz sees 6 special stages run in the Styrian hills around the city of Weiz. Round 2 and Round 3 overall winners Zippo and Dennis Piceno get the rally off to a great start in their Audi Quattro. The Italians setting the fastest times on 4 of the 5 stages. They look on course to finish the day with a commanding lead over their nearest rivals Karl Wagner and Gerhard Zauner in the Porsche 911. However, fate steps in and both cars suffer technical issues on the 6th stage, the Audi suffering from a fuel problem and the Porsche an unspecified technical issue. That opens the door for other teams to shine. Spanish duo Daniel Alonso and Candido Carrera complete the 6 stages with the fastest time of 45 minutes, 13.8 seconds. Also, the Category 2 Porsche 911 RSR of Anders and Ingrid Johnson has a great day. And the Italians, Paolo Passutti and Giovanni Campais, are following close behind. The leaderboard after day 1 sees Category 4 Ford Sierra Cosworth on top, Anders and Ingrid Johnson are just 1 minute 51.2 seconds behind, and the Italian duo sit in third place. Day 2 sees a lot of rain. After failing to finish in the Czech Republic and in Hungary, Ernie and Karen Graham returned to the podium by finishing second in Category 2 and 5th overall. The Austro-German pairing of Alfons Notdürfter and Jürgen Nolte in the Ford Sierra Cosworth 4x4 finishes in 4th. Third place goes to Paolo Passutti and Giovanni Campais in the number 109 Porsche Carrera RS. The Italians have a great second day, but also benefit from the failure of Anders and Ingrid Johnson. The Swedes are pushing hard and briefly take over the overall lead, but fail to start the 14th and final stage with an unspecified technical defect. The performance of the day comes from Zippo and Dennis Paceno, the Italians rejoining the rally with a time penalty that put them in 17th overall after the fuel issues that saw them retire on day 1. The Audi takes the fastest time on all 8 stages on day 2 to leapfrog up the standings and finish second overall and win Category 3, their 4th victory in 4 events. But it's not enough to beat the Ford Sierra Cosworth 4x4 of Daniel Alonso Villaron and Candido Carrera Estevez. The Spanish duo finished 52.5 seconds ahead of the number 101 Audi Quattro. The third place on the podium goes to Paolo Passutti and Giovanni Campais. So, Daniel Alonso extends his lead in the overall standing in Category 4. That's cars built between 1982 and 1985. Alfons Notdürfter in second, and Finn Ville Silvasti is in third. But the biggest smile after day 2 is Zippo's. With a fantastic catch-up, he extends his lead in the overall standings in Category 3. Siegfried Meyer takes over the second place, and Karl Wagner sits in third. Brainerd International Raceway in Minnesota was home of the 4th stop of the Formula Regional Americas Championship powered by Honda. The biggest challenge for the drivers was the slippery course. Guatemalan Ian Rodriguez was successful with a lights-to-flag victory in the first race of the weekend, the first win of the season for the 21-year-old. But the man of the weekend was Australian Joshua Carr, who celebrated 2 important victories. The driver from Sydney was unstoppable in races 2 and 3. The stop of the European Truck Racing Championship at Nürburgring is always a highlight of the season. In the past years, it was a big party for all truck racing fans and drivers. Last year, the event had to be cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and this year it had to be cancelled on short notice.
Some breaking news. Severe storms across Germany have unleashed some of the worst floodings in decades.
Bridges wrecked, train lines undermined.
Emergency workers in Germany and Belgium are still searching for hundreds of people missing after heavy flooding.
With at least 199 people killed and hundreds more still missing.
All available rescue forces, as well as many employees and technical equipment of the Nürburgring, were in the region to help where help could be given. Also, the teams, drivers, and organizers helped immediately. Our thoughts are, of course, with the people who have lost relatives and friends, and to those who have lost all their belongings. The truck racing season just started, but already at the first stop in Hungary, it showed that it will be an exciting season with many drivers on par with each other. Up at the top with the best is the best driver from the years past and most successful driver in the history of truck racing, Jochen Han. In the past 10 years, the 47-year-old has won the coveted title an unbelievable 6 times.
We love the challenge and we love to improve, to develop, to go forward and go on the limit with the big steel blocks, with the trucks. And that's our life.
And the life of his beloved ones. At Han Racing, racing is a family affair. Jochen's father Conrad drove truck races, and his son Lucas wants to follow in his footsteps at some point.
He's a fair driver, he gives respect to other drivers, and that's what's racing on.
The other drivers also hold the reigning champion in high esteem.
You know, he's like a complete driver. He's very, very good in the technical stuff, also very good in the driving stuff, and for sure he's the one to beat. And if you're not good, you will not be European champion. He is it 6 times.
He has experience as a driver and as a constructor as well. You know, when you have a package like that, it's always very, very competitive.
In 2000, Jochen started in truck racing. Immediately he won Rookie of the Year, but it took him 13 years to win his first title. He paid his dues and has seen it all in over 20 years of racing, and his experience is his biggest advantage.
I learned it from the ground, from a lot of people in my life. Lot constructors give me inputs. My end is to understand what everybody tell me, and the good point is I make the construction, I race the truck self, I make the data analyzing self. So in the end, the experience is the most important point when you will be professional and when you will be 6 times European champion.
Jochen Han is not only a successful driver, he plans, designs, and builds his own trucks. No wonder that he has a special feeling for these trucks. The performance of the truck can be analyzed in a highly scientific way because during the race, countless telemetrics are registered, but Jochen knows exactly how to determine whether he has constructed a good truck or not.
When the drivers sit in and feel confident, feel safe, feel lovely, you know, when the feeling is like I'm at home, then you have for sure a good race truck. Why? He gives you all back what you want. That's it. That's the answer of every race car.
In his 22nd season, Jochen still feels at home in his truck and is ready for his next title.
The goal, win. Sometimes it's a dream. Sometimes, not every time it's possible.
Well, we'll certainly see Han Racing at the forefront in the future. The stage is set for round 2 of the ADAC Formula 4. The circuit nestled in the dunes near the Dutch town of Zandvoort provides the location for another spectacular show from the ADAC's high-speed school and on a new track layout. With 2 new banked corners, they provide more overtaking opportunities and thus more racing action. After the season opener in Spielberg, Britain's Luke Browning trails Oliver Bierman by just 5 points, followed by Sebastian Montoya, son of former Formula 1 driver and Indy 500 champion Juan Pablo Montoya, with 32 points in 3rd place. In the first race of 3 on the weekend, Van Amersfoort driver Oliver Bierman starts from the pole position after a great qualifying session, and again he has a brilliant start. Montoya also starts well from the front row of the grid, while Tramnitz number 77 holds off Luke Browning to hang on to 3rd place. Bierman has so far set the fastest lap time in all 4 track sessions and has already opened a gap of over a second by the end of lap 1. Behind the trio at the front, number 8 Luke Browning and number 7 Kirill Small have a great battle for 4th position. The young Russian is relentlessly attacking the Brit, but Browning manages to stay in front. In the middle of the field, 2 youngsters are also having a great fight. Taylor Barnard in the white race car is attacking Hamda Al-Kubaisi, but the 18-year-old is defending her position well. No changes at the head of the field. Van Amersfoort driver Oliver Bierman takes a lights to flag victory. Sebastian Montoya and Tim Tramnitz complete the podium in 2nd and 3rd. That's 3 wins in 4 races this season for the Brit, and Montoya gets his second place finish. In the next race, Oliver Biermann is again on pole position and immediately able to pull clear at the front. Swiss Joshua Defect stays in second place. Kirill Small holds on to third place under pressure from Victor Bernier. The third Van Amersfoort Racing driver Nikita Bedrine claims the 4th position. Tim Tramnich shines with a great overtaking maneuver against Luke Browning. Francesco Bracci experiences a spectacular outing. The young Italian keeps control of his car but cannot continue afterwards. While all the cameras are on Bracci, Nikita Bedrine takes advantage of a mistake by Kirill Small to move up into 3rd place. 3 Van Amersfoort Racing cars in the first 3 positions shows the dominance of the Dutch team on home turf. The racetrack in Zandvoort is only about 80 kilometers from the team headquarters in Zeewolde. Shortly before the restart, Taylor Barnard is already in fight modus and hits 2 other race cars. While the track is cleared, the field must finish the race under yellow flags. It's the second win of the weekend for Biermann. Dufek comes in second, and rookie driver Nikita Bedrine with his second 3rd place finish of the season. In the 3rd race of the weekend, the reverse grid sees Montoya, who finished 8th in race 2, start from the pole position. The Colombian, the first car on the right, makes a real mess of the start and several cars pass him. Sami Muguetuniv takes the lead into the first few corners. Kirill Small jumps from start position 4 to position 2. Tim Tramnitz is 3rd. Montoya falls back to 5th place. A few laps later, Small leads the field. Tramnitz and Bernier fighting for 2nd place. The German driver has the inside and stays in front. A few rounds later, Jochen Han, number 18, brakes a bit too late and triggers a chain reaction. Hamda Al-Kubaizi leaves no room for Jorge Davila. They touch and his Genzer Motorsport team member Francesco Bracci crashes into him. Worse yet, Valentino Catalano crashes into both and takes flight. All 4 drivers have to retire, and the field spends a few laps behind the safety car. Montoya in the red and white car has a great race and is back in good position when the race is restarted. He seizes a moment and attacks Victor Bernier in 2nd position. The Frenchman stays in front in the first corner, but Montoya fights and passes him a few moments later. Then Vladislav Lomko crashes into Nikita Bedrine and ends the rookie's very good weekend so far. Tim Tramnitz, number 77, uses his speed at the end of the straight to attack number 26 Bernier for 3rd place. He has to fight hard, but in the end, he is successful. Small holds tight to the front of the field even after 2 safety car phases. Montoya seems unaffected by his poor start, fighting back strongly to cross the finish line in 2nd place. Kirill Small with his first win of the season, Montoya finishes 2nd, and Tim Tramnitz with his second 3rd place finish in Zandvoort. But Mr. Zandvoort on this weekend is Oliver Biermann. The Brit extends his lead in the overall standings. Sebastian Montoya is already 40 points behind, and Kirill Small jumps up with his win in the last race to 3rd place. That's it for today. On the next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we'll be at the famous Ardennes roller coaster for the next stop of the Formula Regional European Championship. We'll introduce you to the dominant driver of this series, Swiss Grégoire Saucy, and we'll travel to the beautiful race course in Napoli for some great karting action. Till next time, take care everybody and ciao.